of divine discontent and longing. It was small wonder, then, that he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor, said, "Bother!" and "Oh, blow!" and also "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat.
Very nice. I loved it. I love the inflections. It's sort of, I felt like we're floating. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of downward inflection, like a factual, boring e-learning thing. That was very nice. I really
Thank
like
you.
that. All right, let's see. Next on the line is Mary, as far as the viewer would see it. So, yeah.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
I
From
don't
how
know if I
elaborate-
can. What if I send you the link?
Oh,
Can
sure.
would you be able to pull it
Yeah.
up? Because I don't think there's a way to zoom in.
I mean, you might
actually.
if you do
Control
you. Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it Control Plus? Control Plus.
and Command
Let's
plus, I
see.
guess. I don't know.
Let's see if you're right. I'm Control Plus and ain't nothing happening. All right, never mind.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, if you just pull it up in the link and then I'll zoom right in.
Okay.
Thank you.
I actually had to read a piece of this for a production company. That was fun.
Oh, cool. It's so delightful.
Yeah, they wanted a bunch of Easter stories, so they gave me this one.
All right. Down to coat. Okay. The mole had been working very hard all the morning, spring cleaning his little home. First with brooms, then with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs, with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his throat and eyes and splashes of whitewash all over his black fur, and an aching back and weary arms. Spring was moving in the air above and in the earth below and around him, penetrating even his dark and lowly little house with its spirit of divine discontent and longing. It was small wonder, then, that he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor, said "Bother!" and "Oh, blow!" and also "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat.
Very nice.
Very good.
That was wonderful.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. Lovely.
It really sings.
And when you read great writing, it sets you up for success in your practice and in your performance, as far as if you're getting paid to do it. You know, great writing is just going to help. And this is great writing. And yeah, great job. That was,
Thanks.
I love when I feel like as a listener, I'm floating and I'm never standing on the ground. I'm like, you know, it's like in a boat or a little dandelion seed on the wind or something. You're just floating. That's exactly how it should feel. Great job.
Okay, cool.
David.
Okay.
I'll take a whack at this.
The mole had been working very hard all the morning, spring cleaning his little home. First with brooms, then with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs, with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his throat and eyes, and splashes of whitewash all over his black fur, and an aching back and weary arms. Spring was moving in the air above, and in the earth below and around him, penetrating even his dark and lowly little house with its spirit of divine discontent and longing. It was small wonder, then, that he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor, said "Bother!" and "Oh, blow!" and also "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat.
Very nice. Good job. I think on the start of the second one, you did this, but the first line was very like it was rushed, just a little bit. And I loved how you slowed down just a little bit from the second line onward. That was a lot. Like it was good. You were inflecting slower and allowing the listener to sort of hear and register it. But I would say, especially on your opening line, just slow down a little bit, especially, and it can vary genre to genre, but in a laid back, we're literally in the woods and there's little animals playing in the river. This is laid back. So we want to project that from the opening line of this.
Okay.
But that was really good. Good job. Betsy, you want to take a swing?
Sure. If I get this down. Can you all hear me okay?
Let's hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So, opening the book. The mole had been working very hard all morning, spring cleaning his little home, first with brooms, then with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his throat and eyes, splashes of whitewash all over his black fur, and an aching back and weary arms. Spring was moving in the air above and in the earth below and around him, penetrating even his dark and lowly little house with its spirit of divine discontent and longing. It was small wonder then that he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor, said, "Bother," and "Oh, blow," and "Hang spring cleaning," and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat.
Good job. I really like how you, when you were saying the action that had exasperated you, you sound exasperated. Yeah, like he had dust in his throat and eyes. Like that was really good. That especially in a children's book, that's good stuff. Obviously, more you have to be more nuanced depending on the genre, but in a kid's book, you really want to play that up because that's what's going to grab a kid's attention and hold it.
Yeah.
That was really good. Good job.
Thanks.
Let's see. Jenny, are you where you can read aloud, or are you just stalking?
You're on mute still.
Yeah.
Can you?
There we go.
Can you? Yeah, I can't. I mean, I see that you are on. Your mic is on, but I can't hear you. David had that trouble too, and he left and came right back.
I heard the beginning of something, but it cut off. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw her mouth. I'll be right back. I'll try that.
Did you try turning it off and turning it back on?
On again.
Thank you for calling, Mom. Have you checked that the computer is plugged in?
Exactly. That's usually how it goes, actually. Okay, she's back in the room. Your mic's off, but hopefully that's the only reason why we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Hey.
Yes.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay. I think sometimes I get too far away from the Wi-Fi and the microphone won't pick up.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I'm here.
good reason. Do you want the link, or can you read it off the screen?
I can read it off the screen.
Okay.
But I missed some of the intro, so I'm not sure where we're at.
Okay, so we are taking turns reading this opening line or this opening paragraph, kind of, and just there's no wrong way. Just be engaging. it's great practice to do long form narration. And then when we're done, we'll listen to Derek Jacobi read it, and just sort of he'll be our last performer of this.
Okay. Okay. The mole had been working very hard all the morning, spring cleaning his little home. First with brooms, then with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs, with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his throat and eyes and splashes of whitewash all over his black fur and an aching back and weary arms. Spring was moving in the air above and in the earth below, and around him, penetrating even his dark and lowly little house with its spirit of divine discontent and longing. It was small wonder, then, that he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor and said, "Bother!" and "Oh, blow!" and then also, "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat.
Very nice. Great job. Excellent pacing. That was really good. You really slowed down. You really took your time. And that should be the case for any audiobook, especially in a low energy introduction part. There's no action. Nobody's fighting or something, or car chases. But that was really good pacing. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, let's listen to Derek Jacobi, see how he approaches it. And then, the point of this exercise is to pick up something from everybody. You know what I mean? And Derek Jacobi being one of the ones we pick up something from. Let me see. Oops. All right.
The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. Read by Derek Jacobi. The mole had been working very hard all morning, spring cleaning his little home. First with brooms, then with dusters, then with a brush and a pail of whitewash, till he had dust in his eyes, splashes of whitewash all over his black fur, an aching back and weary arms. It was small wonder that he suddenly flung down his brush, said, "Bother!" and "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house. He made for a steep little tunnel, and he scratched and scrabbled with his paws, muttering, "Up we go!" till at last, pop! His snout came out into the sunlight, and he found himself rolling in a great meadow.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wow.
And this is an abridged version. It's about an hour long, but it's abridged, so some of the lines were cut out of it. But did you notice how there was never a moment of silence unless he was taking a breath or sort of pausing for the next thought? So during the thought, there's no silence. He makes the words flow into the next word, so it has this really elevated musical sound to it. And that is really good. That's just, to me, he's one of my favorite narrators. He's so good. He's so good.
The way
and obviously,
the way he pulled out the word mole in the very
Yes.
beginning, you all of a sudden get to have time to really picture Mr. Mole. Yeah.
Right. He,
As an
if you sort of put a stopwatch to the saying of the word mole, he probably stretches it out further than anybody. And also his inflection of it was like, he was like, mole, I mean, it was amazing. And then he did the same thing with broom. Did you hear that? First with brooms, like how he said that, like, wow. And obviously, if you, it can be overdone and distracting if you're not careful, but he just does it. I mean, it's perfect, if there is such a thing. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. It might be different than that, but it's not better than that. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then let's do another one. Yeah, what's up, Jenny?
Okay, so I find that I really like the English accent. Just it's very, very musical, and there's a lot of movement in it. But we all have American accents. Should we be putting on English accents for audiobooks? Or, I guess I just feel like, these are the voices that we have, and these are the accents that we have. Do people enjoy the American accent as much? You know what I mean? I don't know. Does that make sense?
I think some people do. I think British English is generally more musical than Midwestern American. Whereas American Southern is very musical. It's
That's
much
true.
more British in its way. So it's not so much that it's. I mean, some people don't like American accent. Like, no, it's a British story. It ought to be a British author, and that's totally fine.
Mhm.
But I think my way of thinking if I'm recording something in American accent, is I will say, I'm going to do mid-regional American, but I'm going to give it the British musicality of, let's say,
Mhm.
Derek Jacobi. And I don't see why you can't have both. You know what I mean? It's the inflection, it's the pacing, it's the intonation, it's the stress on different words, that kind of thing. You can do that from any accent, you know. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about, no, if you want to do it in an English accent, go for it. But don't think for a minute that that's the only way you're going to get music into it, to make it flow or whatever. You can do that with an American accent. You just have to. One of the reasons why Americans are that it's a monotonous sounding accent is because we don't inflect in a lot of the places that they do in the UK. So you might say, I come in, kind of what's going on. I say, what are you doing? It's sort of flat, monotonous. What are you doing? A Brit a lot of times will go upwards to stress a point. Like, what are you doing? So it'll go up. I mean, not always, but generally they're going to go up and stress a point. Whereas an Irish person might go down. What are you doing? It's the same words, different stress, and that totally throws you into another spot. But I could also say, what are you doing, man? That's American with an Irish inflection to it. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't think it's only about the accent. I think if you're worried about, if you're minding your inflection, which is so important, if you're minding your pacing, which is so important, it's going to sound pretty good. And then at that point, it becomes a matter of taste. Maybe some people don't like American accents. That's fine, but it's not, because it's not really good. You could go on to this book on Audible, I bet you. And I bet you there's some numbskulls that have made it like a 1-star for performance because they just didn't like it. You know what I mean? There's always going to be haters. And the better it is, the more the knuckle draggers sort of delight in saying, well, I didn't even like it. I'm like, okay, well, nobody cares what you think. It's amazing. Don't worry about those. People that are really good are not going to be condescending to someone that's trying hard. You know what I mean? They're not going to cut you down. They will say, that's really good, right? I love what you're doing right there. Keep doing that. Hey, right over here, maybe do more of that. Let's have more. You were starting it. Let's take it up a notch in this spot. This was amazing. People that leave the 1-star reviews like, I hated it. That's not constructive in any universe. And they're just, they just have no fun in their life. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, long answer, but I wouldn't worry about the accent. And it's very much like people that are, I know so many people, and especially males, they maybe have a natural baritone that it sounds, their voice sounds nice. And so they think that because they have a nice sounding voice, then they're just going to be a naturally good voice actor without any practice. And that's just not the case. I would way rather hear someone that, it's almost like someone that has big hands, so I can make a big octave on the piano. I can do 1.5, 2 octaves on the piano, so I must be amazing. Like, no, not necessarily. It just means you have big hands. You could be amazing with lots and lots of practice. But some people, they just sort of lean into the mellifluous tones of their voice and think that that's all they need, and they don't worry about the inflection